Hello. This post is on too many people wearing too many hats, and so I am, of course, wearing a lovely hat. Journalism's greatest fault is the same fault as every other industry: market forces. It is subject to the incentive to squeeze a maximum amount of work out of each individual worker. And when the supply of workers is infinite, the workflow is distorted by high turnover. A newspaper could hire two people and ask them to each produce one 5,000-word article per month, or it could hire one very capable person and ask him or her to write two 5,000-word articles per month. What do they choose? They choose to hire one person and work him to death. As a result, journalists today are either underemployed, working for free, or working for prestige, but the ones who get paid are asked to churn out content at a superhuman pace. When a journalist is forced to produce superhuman quantities of intellectual material, either that material is going to be absolute crap, or that journalist is going to burn out. I can understand why an employer wouldn't care if he is burning through journalists, because there is an infinite supply. But why not forego employees entirely and just pay for individual stories on a freelance basis? The answer is control. Publications want control over their content producers, and the only way to get that control is to force the best and the brightest into a pressure cooker environment in which they could be fired if they do not produce exactly what the publication wants. This is also how the academic science community is structured, and it is a recipe for a propaganda machine rather than a recipe for good journalism or science. It is probably the reason that people today have so little faith in the press or in the freedom thereof. The industry has been squeezed into this position from all sides. The editors are being replaced by algorithms that tailor content feeds to individual users, and the journalists are competing with hacks who plagiarize their work and post whatever nonsense pops into their heads. What the system is losing is a layer of old-fashioned editors and fact-checkers, people who have been selected for their courage, specialized experience, critical thinking skills, and power to make decisions based on high journalistic standards, rather than based on clickbait cud and plutocrats' propaganda. Maybe I'm just pessimistic about this, because I recently tried to get an article published in some online magazines, and I hit an absolute brick wall. Getting my story out felt like shouting into a blizzard, but I don't think I'm the only one with this problem. Each industry is learning to use the internet and automation to squeeze more money out of each employee by making each employee wear more hats. In today's Navy, a sailor may serve as cook, gunner, machinist, and crane operator as the need arises. If the crane breaks, he will need to quickly learn how to become a crane repairman. And in theory, if he can get the right repair manual from the internet, he could learn the required skills on the fly. My experimental physics training required me to wear a ridiculous number of hats: teacher, writer, engineer, shift leader, machine operator, programmer, simulator, marketer, assembler, safety inspector, purchaser, cleaner, coordinator, designer, etc. By training physicists to become jacks of all trades, we ensure that there will be very few with any mastery of the discipline. It took me some time before I realized that this system was designed to protect the power of a very few. Similarly, within journalism today, each worker must wear multiple hats, serving as writer, editor, and marketer. In the past, specialists would take over these roles in a team. This leads me to the conclusion that I am not the only one who is shouting into a blizzard. It is like this for everyone. But I'm not giving up just yet, because I still believe in that quality can triumph over quantity. And I put a lot of work into the books I wrote and put a lot of thought into the story they tell. I think it helps people make sense of how the world is changing and how they feel about it. So I invite you to take a look at my blog and my books, and have a nice day.